To go live when the game was over 6 minutes in. The Clippers got dismantled and embarrassed in game one in Utah to start off the regular season. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome to Clippers Talk. Coming up, we'll talk with Carlo Jimenez. We'll take your calls. Might as well start early because the Clippers let this game get away from them early. You wait all summer. That excitement mounts. It builds for opening night, and the Clippers came out with a dud. Boom, boom, boom. And give Utah what is likely going to be their best victory of the season. Maybe. Maybe they're better than we thought. Their over-under was 19.5. Did you hear me? So if you're disgusted tonight, I totally understand. If you want to lash out, that's fine. I'm also going to offer another perspective, which is that it's game one, and it's not going to define this season for the Clippers. But if you want to start by lighting this team up for this performance, I get it. Because it feels like an extension of the last Clippers game that counted that we saw against Denver in Game 7. In Game 7 against Denver, they got down by as many as 35. They were down by, I think, 8 at the half, and it got completely out of hand. 11 at the half, 8 early in the third, and then it got completely out of hand, snowballed on them, and they were down by as many as 35 in Denver. Tonight, they got down by 27 in the first quarter. Was there carryover? I don't know how there could be with so many new players and a new season and a different opponent. This was just really, really disappointing, really disheartening. And the last person I'm blaming for this game is Ivica Zubac, by the way. The Utah Jazz also hit everything. I mean everything. I cannot believe how good this Jazz team shot the basketball, especially in the first half, where the Clippers were down by 31. It was 78-47. And this Clippers team they had given up 12 made threes to the Jazz, who were 12 of 21 from three, and they were 16 of 18 from two in the first half. That's rough. That's gross. Do things like this happen? Yeah, they do. But it's really tough to see it in game one because you haven't established yourself yet. So, back to the drawing board on Friday. We got a lot to get into with your postgame score, with the postgame show, where we will, unfortunately, have to say the score a few different times. Painful, Clipper Nation. Painful way to start the season. I don't believe it will define their season. Just like in the 2021 season when they lost by 51 to Dallas. That did not define their season. But I'm with you. It's painful right now.
This is the Los Angeles Clippers. They can contend for a title. Heard exclusively on the LA Clippers Audio Network.
Late fourth quarter in Utah as this game 1 of 82 mercifully comes to an end for your Los Angeles Clippers. Didn't know Coach Lou would be going this deep into his bench in this ball game here, Carlo. But some young guys getting run right now. Guess who I just got a follow from? Guess who just followed me?
Who?
Pablo Torre.
Let's go. Is it because of your video, your YouTube video?
Guys, breaking news. Pablo Torre just gave me a follow. Maybe it was because my YouTube video. Well, we got a team named the Lakers, but not the Salt Lakers. Rolls right off the tongue. It's definitely a fish out of water type thing with them originally being from New Orleans. Yeah, Pyramid Lake. Why is Pablo got to follow me now out of all times? Of course it's on this night. Well, I guess I'm on his radar. Sorry, guys. I'm just setting up post game here. I just wanted to be in pain together. Commiserating, say it ain't so. I will not go to Utah anymore. Utah, give them the bragging rights. They came out, played hard, made everything. Clippers really put up the most shocking score of the opening week in the NBA season, most likely. Maybe Pablo Torre is coming for me to dunk on me right now. Is he in the chat? Beware. Beware and be aware. Hey, none of this game changes the points I made. Your real post-game show will start here momentarily. Game's almost over. Thank goodness. I'm guessing, I don't know if Coach Lou can say it's a burn the tape game because there's new players and lineups and rotations that he has to look at. That's what he said after the Dallas game when they lost by 51 early in the 2021 season. And that game did not define that season, the greatest season in Clippers franchise history. And yeah, whenever they get blown out like this, I usually reference that game. I know, guys, you're all disappointed. Not what you were looking to see tonight. But we don't need overreactions like cut Chris Dunn or the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. We don't need that. All right, we'll get to your post game.
Our engineer, Colin Yee, our producer, Hunter Hawkins, our statistician. Adam Oslin's going to take you the rest of the way. We'll be back for one more segment. Our final here in Utah, 129-108. Jazz take the opener over the Clippers on your Clippers Audio Network.
Well, the Clippers fall flat against the Jazz in Utah in Game 1. Trailed by as many as 37, and they lose 129-108. Welcome into your postgame show. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we'll hear from Coach Lou and the players after this one. We'll also get into your postgame box score, a full recap. We'll take your calls on Clippers Talk as well if you want to get on early. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. But first, back out to Delta Center with your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. who I do not envy on nights like these, where Carlo is doing some heavy lifting. When your team gets down early like this, that separates the men from the boys when it comes to play-by-play men, and not many can hang with Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, great call, but a really disappointing and embarrassing loss for this Clippers team to start off the season.
Yeah, it's not too many ways you can paint this as a positive other than, look, you play 82 games. And in 82 games, things are going to get hard. Teams are going to have off nights. Now, you don't expect those off nights to happen right when the season starts. But for the Clippers, I think you look at this game, you flush it, and you say, all right, our season actually starts on Friday. And you just look forward. This is a group that's looked good and engaged all preseason. But you talked about it, Adam. Young teams get hot. They get going in a hurry. Utah hit 17 threes. They shot 55% from the field. They didn't miss a two-point attempt until 9:30 on the second quarter clock, and they just ran away with things in this one. Definitely a tough one for the Clips, but you got an opportunity to bounce back on Friday, and that's all the Clippers can do. And like you mentioned, Adam, this is a team that lost by 51 and went to the conference finals. You know, you're going to have bad games.
And I know a lot of people are going to say, come on, it's the Utah Jazz. They're institutionally tanking, systematic tanking going on. You can't tell any of the players that. Those guys out there on the floor in game one, no less, are going all out. They put on a heck of a show for their fans, and they showed up in a big way. Shooting-wise, you know, sometimes if you wait too long to put a hand up, it's eventually going to let a team get in rhythm, and they're going to be lights out throughout the rest of the ball game. So then even when you do have a hand up, even when you do and are defending those shots from the outside, like I saw, plenty of those three-pointers were defended by the Clippers. It just didn't matter because this Jazz team was already laser-focused and had found their rhythm, their touch, their timing out there on the perimeter. And I don't know if this is a franchise record. I know they've made more than 17 threes, but maybe in the first half, with the three-point percentage at least, and how many they had made volume-wise. That was a special night for the Utah Jazz. Tip your cap, but the Clippers have to regroup and assess things because, honestly, to me, Carlo, it felt like it's a continuation of what we saw in Game 7 against the Denver Nuggets in some ways. Clippers fell apart in the second half of that game, got down by as many as 35. Well, tonight, down by as many as 37. And I think that's what really is putting fans on notice right now and having them upset. I get it. It's game one. You have a long off season after what happened against Denver, and you want to find a way to get off on the right foot. And instead, the Clippers just continued to just see a plethora of threes fall against them and a hot shooting Jazz team that just was relentless tonight.
Yeah, and credit Utah. And like you said, they're going to come out and fight. And I think, you know, there's something to bad teams not knowing they're bad until they lose 20 games, right? Like, this is a Utah team that right now feels like they can compete with anyone. Now, when we come back here on January 1st, I'll be curious to see how many wins are on the board. But for now, I mean, they know and feel like they have the enthusiasm that every team has right now during the young season that you could win on every given night. And this is a team that won 2 games in April and March last year combined. So they're feeling like they need to come back and show some fight. And it was an impressive win. That 3 big lineup of Filipowski, Kessler, and Marketed were really, really good. And overall, this is a game for the Clippers, as Chris Paul talked about it before the game, where we just got to focus on us. I don't think there's anything where you point to, wow, Utah did this so well, that's why the Clippers lost. The Clippers have to focus on themselves. The turnovers in the first quarter, getting down early there, being able to get back on the defensive end. Utah too many times, runouts, and then just opportunities that were missed by this Clipper team, whether it be on the offensive end, finding guys open and not knocking down shots. The Clippers they'll be better. You know, this isn't how the season's going to go. This team is going to find that rhythm. That's why they're such a seasoned team. They have that elite ability to be able to bounce back, to have the perspective knowing that this is a long season, and to understand, well, yes, this means something, and this isn't something they should just brush to the side and not care about, but understand you got a chance to right those wrongs if you go blow out a Phoenix team who's getting blown out by Sacramento right now.
And I would be shocked if the Clippers didn't respond in a big way this weekend at home. The Dome is home. Back it into a Dome. They're taking on the Suns on Friday night in the home opener. And we'll have your tip time at 7:30. Your pregame show starting at 6:30. Carlo, I said it already, but I'll say it again. Great call by you. Unfortunately, not a great performance from this Clippers team. We expect better in games 2 and 3 this weekend. Talk to you on Friday, my friend.
Adam, we got another game, and it's on Friday, and it counts just the same. I'm excited. Let's go.
Coming up next, we'll break down what happened early on in the first half and how the Clippers would go on to fall 129-108 in Utah to the Jazz. I'm Adam Osland, someone at a loss for words, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers were DOA in game 1 in Utah. They fall 129-108 to the Jazz. A poor display to start off the 2025-2026 season. And I know Clipper Nation is on tilt. We'll talk about it all here on your post-game show. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome back in. Coming up, I guess we'll get to your final box score. I do want to talk about what occurred in the first half, in the first quarter of this one, and how things just compounded on the Clippers. First of all, this Clippers team, starting DJ, he's your 5th starter, next to Bradley Beal, James Harden, Kawhi, and Ivica Zubac. I'm all for it. I think you need a point of attack defender. I don't think starting John Collins was the difference in this game. I don't know if you saw when he did get out there, when the Clippers did go bigger, it didn't matter because, well, Utah was destroying them from 3, specifically in the first half. I can't believe some of the 3-pointers that the Utah Jazz hit in the face of Clippers defenders were unreal. Credit them. I knew they were going to come out with spirit, with fight. It's game 1. It's their home opener. Say what you want about this Utah Jazz team and what their goals are this season. None of the players care about getting a higher draft pick. They're out there to perform at a high level. And their players were available tonight. But in the first half, they were 12 of 21 from 3 and 16 of 18 from 2. They didn't miss their first 2-pointer in the ball game, believe it or not, until the 9:35 mark of the second quarter. I don't care if you're in an open gym. This stuff is hard to do. But the Clippers getting down by 27 early in the first quarter, pretty inexcusable. A 28-5 run from about the midway point of the first quarter to early in the second quarter for the Jazz really was all it took. That was the knockout punch. The Clippers never really fought back enough to make this game competitive enough to say, they rallied. Didn't happen. I don't know if that was more about effort or just hot shooting from this Utah Jazz team. But when Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen have more points combined than you do in the first quarter, 22-19, you're going to have a hard time. And the Clippers were down 43-19 after the first quarter. It ended appropriately with a turnover by Brook Lopez because turnovers were aiding the Jazz. The Clippers had 9 of them, leading to 14 points in the first quarter. That's when things snowballed. It's one thing if you can't get into your offense, if guys aren't on the same page, but when you have all those live ball turnovers and you're giving them easy looks and transition buckets, and guys are running in and walking into three-pointers in transition, it's hard to recover from that. But this Jazz team was just spectacular, and the Clippers, or whatever word you want to use for the opposite of that, wasn't good enough. Really disappointing way to start the season. They have to respond on Friday. I'm not going to overreact too much, but they need to respond back at Intuit Dome on Friday. Clipper Nation deserves much better than this. We'll take a quick timeout. Clippers lose big in Utah, 129-108 to the Jazz in game 1 of the regular season. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.
Right here on the LA Clippers Audio Network.
Clippers lacked the requisite sense of urgency, and they paid for it in Utah. They got down 43-19 in the first quarter. They go on to lose 129-108 in game 1 to the Jazz. Welcome back into your post-game show. Coming up, we got Clippers Talk on AM 570 LA Sports and on the YouTube side and streaming on your iHeartRadio app. If you want to call in early, 866-987-2570, 866-987-2570. This Clippers team, I don't know how you come out that flat in game one. You can explain it away as new lineups, new players, that familiarity, but it's not like the Utah Jazz didn't have some new lineups and new players out there. So that's not a great excuse. Honestly, being down by 37 to the Utah Jazz, there's really no way to explain it away, I should say. Let's go eat some bales of hay. Sorry, Happy Gilmore. What do you say? Really, really frustrating because we've been waiting all summer. And then it's a continuation of what happened in Game 7 to the Denver Nuggets. I think that's where a lot of the animosity right now is coming from and the vitriol from the fan base. And nobody likes to lose, even if you got 81 more games left, especially like that. I will say, for everybody that's saying a win's a win, a loss is a loss, well, is it really? When you lose game one and get blown out in Utah like this, Clippers just look lifeless out there. It was a lack of spirit, energy, effectiveness. And when they got down early and took that first punch, it was a knockout. And that shouldn't happen in game one. It shouldn't happen in game 7 either. I'm still upset about that. I thought they were too. I saw the shirts the coaching staff has been wearing. You know, if you know, you know. So this is the first game of the next season? To have an inexplicable blowout loss like this leaves a real bad taste in your mouth, but 81 games left to wash it away, including against the Phoenix Suns, who they went 0-4 against last year in the regular season. I need to see this team respond in a big way Friday, back it into a dome in front of Clipper Nation against Phoenix. That's where it has to be. And then again on Sunday against Portland. That's where it has to be. Win the next 2 in impressive fashion. Clippers tipping off on Friday night against Phoenix, as I mentioned, from Into a Dome. 7:30 tip. Pregame starts at 6:30 outside of Los Angeles. We are leaving you until then. But up next, here on AM 570 LA Sports and on Clippers Talk on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. It's a full slate of calls on Clippers Talk next.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not gonna do what you all think I'm gonna do, which is just flip out.
Welcome to Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Osland. After they lose big in Utah, good to be with you guys. I think final score, not indicative of how poorly this game was played by the Clippers, 129-108, but the Clippers were down by as many as 37. If you'd like to get on tonight, 866-987-2570, 866-987-2570 is the phone number. And coming up on the show, we'll have post-game audio from Coach Lou and the players. I appreciate all you guys in here, even the doomers and people saying the season is over and fire everyone and cut this player as if it's like a high school basketball team or something. Because at times tonight, yes, it looked that bad. I'm extremely disappointed. You wait all summer after getting smoked in Game 7 in a series I felt like they let get away from them against the Denver Nuggets. And then they were completely outmatched in Game 7, 3 minutes into the third quarter. And the very next game that counts, you put together a performance like this. I don't want to overreact, but I don't want to spin this in too positive of a fashion yet. I want to vent a little bit. I think many people deserve that here, since we started on Clippers Talk on the YouTube side before the game was even over, because for all intents and purposes, it was. Somebody on Twitter was like, they're going to get it to 20 in the fourth. I promise. Like, okay. And what? What does that mean? I think they got it to 22. How do you get down 27 as quickly as they did in the first half, in the first quarter? I want to say, because, you know, I'm already trying to eject this from memory, I want to say they were already down 27 in the first quarter. That is hard to do in the NBA. It's really hard to do against a team that is predicted to finish bottom 2 in the Western Conference. The Utah Jazz had an over-under of 19.5 wins this season. Did they just get their best victory already? Maybe they're better than we thought. Maybe this won't look as bad at some point. Right now, looks awful. Hey, if Clippers come home, smash the Suns, win on Sunday against Portland, and it looks like they've righted the ship and atoned for this opening night loss, fine. But we're living in the moment a little bit. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but I do want to let you feel this loss a little bit because it stings and it hurts. And I don't know how you come out and look that lifeless. People are going to say they're old. It's game 1. If the tired legs are coming midway through the season, there's that malaise near the All-Star break, especially for veteran teams. That's different. This is game 1. That's about as disappointing of a start to a season as you can have. Disheartening. You have a right to be upset. It looked like a continuation of the Game 7 against Denver. So the last 2 games, the Clippers got down by 35 points in Game 7 against Denver, and then tonight by as many as 37. So a total of, when things were at their worst, a combined 72 points they were down by. The last 2 times we saw this team, that's brutal. That is a really tough way to start. I don't know how many ways I can put this. There's plenty of silver linings, and I'm not going to just flip out. I'm not. But we got time here. We'll take your phone calls and we can be as miserable as you can be when it's just game one of the regular season. Because I really thought this team was going to get off to a good start for like the first time since the 2021 season. But oh, wait. Here comes Mr. Brightside. The Killers were Utah tonight, but I'm Mr. Brightside. In that 2021 season, do you remember what happened to the Clippers? I do. I don't forget much, for better or for worse. Usually for worse. I got a mind like a steel trap. And starting off that season, the Clippers had their worst loss in the history of the franchise. A franchise that has had seasons where they won 12 games. And yet, they had a loss in Game 3 that year after starting off 2-0, beating the Lakers and Denver Nuggets on the road. They lost Game 3 at home, 124-73, by 51 to the Dallas Mavericks. I was there. Do you remember that? Let me ask you something. What happened by the end of that 2020-2021 season? Didn't they end up in the Western Conference Finals, and betting odds would have had them as the favorites to win it all if Kawhi didn't do his ACL? I fully believe they would have won the championship if Kawhi doesn't tear his ACL. So my point is, as much as you want to drown yourself in the negativity tonight surrounding this team because you're taking incoming from your Laker friends or whoever is hitting you up and saying, LOL Clippers right now, this will not define them. It won't. And if you say, because a worse loss is coming, no. Hey, look, if this season goes off the rails and this was a sign of things to come and we find that out 50 games in, then I'll admit that. But I highly doubt tonight's loss in Utah is going to define them. If they come out and win the next game by 20, what did tonight mean? Sure. If you want to be that guy that looks back at the end of the season and say, we should have won this game, we would have been second in the standings if we had won this game. First of all, you're delusional. You have no idea how things work. Who was talking about this recently in sports? Coach for Arizona State. My favorite college football coach. Because they just beat Texas Tech. And they had just had a tough loss. I think they got crushed by Utah. And Kenny Dillingham, head coach of the Sun Devils, RIP Pat Tillman, came out and said, we don't win this game if what happened last week didn't occur. And he's right. There is a butterfly effect. So anybody that just wants to go back during the season and say this was a bad loss, this was a bad loss, you mark those as wins. We have 55 wins instead. We don't lose all 4 games to the Phoenix Suns last season, then we would have been the 2 seed. You can't do that. Because do they win the game against Detroit after I think that last loss to the Suns where Harden had 50? It's about how you respond and using this stuff as fuel and turning one loss hopefully into 2 wins. I need 2 wins Friday and Sunday at the Dome against the Suns, against Portland. 2 supposed bottom dwellers in the Western Conference this season. That's what the projections say. They also said the Utah Jazz had no business being on the floor with the Clippers tonight. But early season losses like this, as you're trying to mesh and bring in new players, if it was going to happen, it's probably going to happen early in the season. Get it out of the way. Get your wake-up call now. Make some new coaches' shirts and respond. Because we all know this team's better than the way they look tonight. No disrespect to Utah. I don't think they're as good as they look tonight, and I don't think the Clippers are as bad as they look tonight. No chance. Somebody was telling me earlier, like, well, what does that matter about the Dallas game from 2021 that they lost by 51? I'm like, the point is, Dallas wasn't 51 points better than the Clippers because they did that to them in one game. The Clippers ended up beating them in the first round series in the playoffs. I don't think all of a sudden the Utah Jazz have a higher ceiling than the Clippers because of what happened tonight. You have bad losses in a long regular season. Denver lost to the Washington Wizards twice last season with Jokic in both games, I believe. So I have a long memory. I can bring up examples. If you want to just, I don't know, listen to the Smiths tonight, Morrissey, or Everybody Hurts by REM. After night one, well, that's your decision. But there's 81 games to play, and I don't think this is going to end the Clippers season. Mark in Huntington Beach, you're on Clipper Stop with Adam Moslin. Hi, Mark.
I got a better song for tonight's game. It was sung by Jerry. I can't think of his last name, but when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. And that basically was it. They shot 80% in the friggin' first quarter, and we couldn't pass the ball or make a basket. I don't know how many threes I saw us miss in the first half. But, yeah, when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. It was the perfect storm. We were dismal, and they were on fire. And when you get behind by that much, yeah, you can come back and let's get down by 20 by the fourth quarter. If you can't change it, we kept playing the same way, basically, no matter what team was out there, the whole first three quarters. So there was just no way of catching up. It's just one game, yeah, it's just embarrassing the way it wound up. But, hey, I'll be there on Friday in the swell. I'm one of the swell guys, so we'll just, put this one off and forget about it. But, man, what an embarrassing beginning.
And Mark, you're right. The Utah Jazz literally shot 80% from the field in the first quarter. They were 16 of 20 and 4 of 8 from the outside. And they started 16 of 18 inside the three-point line in this game. That's insane. I'm sorry. This stuff, it happens every now and then in the NBA, and everybody always thinks they're on the wrong end from a hot shooting night, from a bad shooting team. Every fan base feels like that. It only happens to us. It only happens to us. Well, if everybody feels like that, I guess it happens to everybody. I'm hoping this is just one of those nights against the Clippers because I believe in their defense, and I think we're going to see it coming up. But, Mark, thank you for the phone call. Clippers look to regroup and bounce back, hopefully in a big way on Friday. Back it into a Dome. There's no place like Dome. There's no place like Dome. Coming up next, more of your phone calls, 866-987-2570, 866-987-2570. As the Clippers got trucked in Utah by Marketing, Kessler. I mean, Ace Bailey was on a minutes restriction. They do have size in Utah. Pause. More coming up next. I'm Adam Moslin, and you're listening to AM 570 LA Sports. God. See Yeezy calling Yee with the music here. When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. Courtesy of Jerry Reed and Mark and Huntington Beach calling for that earlier after Clippers looked pretty cold. I was hoping revenge is a dish best served cold. Maybe they'll wait for the first game against Denver. I was just hoping a little bit more spirit, fight, urgency, competitiveness out there from a team that is coming off an awful loss in the first round where they weren't competitive against the Nuggets. Take it out 4 months later on the Utah Jazz. That's what I was hoping for. Didn't happen tonight. Clippers lose game 1 of the regular season, 129-108. Getting choked up just looking at this box score. Rob in Round Rock, Texas. Help me out. What's up, Rob?
Hello, Adam. I had originally called to ask you the cause of the Clippers' team defense breaking down, but I think you've answered that question. So I want to know, did any Clippers players' effort stand out in a positive way to you?
I like this. I got one for you. I thought Derek Jones Jr. Derek Jones Jr. in the second half was attacking, still playing hard. I thought Ivica Zubac at times. Those were the two guys that stood out to me that were playing with the right amount of energy and effort, I would say.
Okay, that's great. Okay, yeah, because they look like the Washington Generals on defense tonight.
Well, I got to say, if I go through the tape and I show and highlight every three-pointer made by the Utah Jazz, I think it would surprise people with how many of those were well defended and it didn't matter. I'm talking hand in the face, Chris Dunn all over a guy. It did not matter. They had a special night from beyond the arc. They had a special shooting night overall. It was, I don't know, it was Utah's maybe most impressive shooting night of the season. It just happened to take place against the Clippers in game 1.
Well, better. Hope we'll do better next time.
Can only go up from here. Rob, appreciate the phone call, my friend.
Really. Thanks, Adam.
Edward in Granada Hills. You're on Clippers Talk with Adam Moslem. Hi, Edward. I'm Team Edward.
Hey, what's up, Adam?
What's up, E? How we doing?
Hey, man. So, as you can tell, I come with some more bad news, man. I'm just disappointed in Kawhi. Again, he just can't defend anybody. And it's just not the best player. He can't defend anybody. Hold on. 10 points. It's just unacceptable.
He can't defend anybody, or he didn't defend well tonight? Because there's a difference.
He can't. Adam, he can't defend anybody. He can't stand in front of anybody anymore.
Bro, I could pull clips from that series against Denver and show you a ton of them. I could show you some plays tonight. That's just not true.
Adam,
he didn't forget how to play defense all of a sudden.
Kawhi.
Aaron Gordon might have gotten 3 buckets at the rim against Kawhi in that series, and everybody keeps blowing it up. You know, Kawhi wasn't even on him the majority of the time.
But he was supposed to be on him because that's the guy that's scoring all the points. And the best player on your team is supposed to be scoring. It's supposed to be guarding the best player on the other team in the crucial moments, right?
Well, if you're the best defender, most best players on teams aren't as good of defenders as Kawhi is. Kawhi did guard Nikola Jokic at the end of game 4 to get him to throw up that air ball as he came over to help. That miraculously went into the hands of Aaron Gordon, who was right place, right time, Johnny on the spot. They were very fortunate. Hey, Edward, just please, because you know I'm the receipt master. You better stay around. You better stay around this season because I got news for you. Kawhi had a bad night defensively. The Clippers did. They were in rotation a ton.
Offensively as well.
Sure. He had a bad game overall. This game is also not going to define Kawhi Leonard. He didn't forget how to play defense all of a sudden. I saw him play and move very well in the preseason. I am not concerned about that part of it. They got to play together is the issue.
No, I understand that because it wasn't just him. It was everybody on the team. I mean,
okay, but you're saying he can't stay in front of anyone.
No, because I mean, you win as a team, you lose as a team, right? Zubac, he played excellent, but I felt like at times he didn't understand that he was being double teamed and needed to pass out and tried to force the game. I feel like Harden didn't play enough defense and didn't try to create as much offense as he usually does in other games. I feel like Nicholas Batum if he doesn't shoot 50%, he's not good enough for us.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Lopez, I love
Edward, I feel like they had 9 turnovers in the first quarter and were their own worst enemies and couldn't get into their offense, and they were a mess. And it's game 1 with some new players out there like Bradley Beal. It's not going to.
And then I also feel like Brook Lopez, he's a great addition to the team, but he's playing too much on the 3-point line. We needed a big man to rebound. I love him picking and popping, but he needs to be in the paint more.
My guy, he shot 5 of 11 from 3. He was one of their better players. I didn't mention him earlier, but this was one of the guys that fought tonight.
I understand that, but he's also a 7-footer that needs to be in the paint.
Well,
and
you're talking about 2 different ends.
Most blame today, it's Ty Lue, because he never has the guys prepared. He never has the right additions.
They won 50 games last season with Kawhi only playing 37. They won 50 games last season with Kawhi only playing 37. To say that he never has the guys prepared when you know what their over-under was last season? 37 and a half games. Kawhi only played 37 and they still won 50. I'm not going to just make these long-reaching conclusions because of one game. I haven't missed a Clippers game since 2016. I've seen a lot. I got a good memory. This too shall pass. This too shall pass.
I've been around as well. It's a roller coaster.
All right. Well, we're on it. And right now, it's still going up. It's the climb part of it. But I'm hoping they're going to hit the Top Gun roller coaster portion of it or whatever's going on at Knott's Berry Farms now. And we're going to be elated and have our hands up against Phoenix on Friday.
I hope so, Adam, and I appreciate you bringing me on, man.
All right, Edward. Appreciate you. We'll take a quick timeout. Clippers lose 129-108 to the Utah Jazz in Utah, and everyone's losing their minds. I get it. I do. But this whole, I don't know, you better come pretty strong. If you're just going to say this is an indictment on Coach Lou's coaching resume. His entire career came down to this night. It was all defined tonight. It's like, no. How many games did they win last season where they had no business winning? You might think the Jazz had no business winning tonight. Clippers got to respond. Speaking of Ty Lue, we'll hear from him coming up. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports. Well, I should have expected this tonight. Not this outcome, but the fallout with Clipper Nation being this upset and calling for everyone's job after the Clippers lose 129-108 in game 1 of the 2025-2026 season. Yes, it was a bad start. It's about how you finish, right? Clippers were down by as many as 37. It was brutal. 866-987-2570. Jonathan in Buena Park. Jonathan, what's up? You're on Clippers Talk.
Hey man, I mean, I feel like I'm like every other fan tonight. Everyone was just mad, and I just wanted to know from an analytical point of view, what did you think of the second unit? I know they looked really good in the preseason, but I don't know. It seemed like tonight it looked like we have a lot of play finishers, but they just didn't have anyone that could just get a bucket. Like John Collins was supposed to be that, but he just didn't look like it tonight to an extent that I would like.
My man, forget get a bucket. They couldn't get into their first action. They couldn't get into their offense. When at the 3:48 mark, it was Lopez, CP3, Collins, Dunn with Kawhi, and they had back-to-back turnovers. This is still the first quarter from Collins looking for Brook Lopez, and then Dunn looking for Brook Lopez. Miscommunications, and then CP3, he has a turnover, 3 straight turnovers. Jazz are up 19. They couldn't even get started. They couldn't even get off the ground. It was it was a comedy of errors. Honestly, like all you could do is laugh at one point. This doesn't mean the Utah Jazz or the 2004 Detroit Pistons defensively. This is more about what the Clippers weren't doing and the way they just couldn't execute.
Yeah, it felt like there were like 4 minutes in the first quarter where they just didn't even get a shot up just because of how many turnovers they had back to back to back.
The Jazz had a 19-2 run. It was gross. It was hard to watch. You let a young team in their home opener get comfortable and get confident like that. Even if you get back into the game, they're not going anywhere. And the Clippers most definitely did not get back into the game. That was an avalanche.
So did you feel like, I mean, our second unit did play, I mean, it didn't play too bad, but do you feel like I almost wanted to see more of the first unit just because of how bad they started. And I feel like they needed to get like another run in sooner. Or at least I feel like Beal didn't get a lot of playing time.
I think they came back in by the 6-minute mark of the second quarter, maybe the 7-minute mark, where the starters were back. And they did play more than I thought they would, considering how bad and how lopsided and how the game was getting away from them. And Kawhi Leonard played 29 minutes in a game where they were down by 27 pretty quickly. James Harden played 29 minutes. Ivica Zubac played 27. Bradley Beal was on a minutes restriction, probably hit it, getting to 20.
Oh.
But John Collins was at 28 minutes. I do think he gave them more run than he typically would later in the season, just because even if you're getting blown out, we might as well give these lineups some reps out there.
That makes sense. All right. Well, it was great talking to you.
All right, Jonathan, appreciate you. Quick timeout. We'll come back. Clippers lose badly. 129-108 in Utah to the Jazz. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports. New starting lineups, new coach, fire everyone. It's over. No, guys, I'm the king of receipts, and I ain't going to forget to how a lot of you overreacted to game one, because this thing will turn. It is one game. They lost badly. Let that be a lesson to anyone who says a win's a win, a loss is a loss. No, it kind of matters how you play and who you play. Clippers fall 129-108 in Utah to the Jazz. If you're on hold, stay on hold. I'll get to you. I'll do some Clippers talk after dark on the YouTube side, even though we're done on AM 570 LA Sports. Because it was game one, because of the outcome, I'll stay on with you guys. Before we get out of here, I do want to thank the Clippers organization, Ralph Lawler, Brian Seaman, Noah Ego, Carlo Jimenez on the call, C Easy, calling ye in here on the board, Daniel West. We'll talk to you next time. Same with Big Brother Jake. I'm Adam Osland. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere on the YouTube side. I'll be right here. On the radio side, I'll be back on Friday. On your feed right after the show. Come on, guys. We ain't gotta overreact like this. Game one. This is not going to define their season. It's not. Nobody's game in game one of the regular season is going. So if they beat the Jazz by 30 tonight, or the Clippers going to the championship, I would say, hey, they did what they should do. I need them to put a whooping on Phoenix on Friday. All these people upset with Coach Lou. I'll get to your phone calls. Stay on hold for me. Some of you guys are dropping out. I'll stay on with you for another 20 minutes. Mark, how am I not letting the fans vent? I'm literally staying on longer so you guys can get upset in the chat. What more do you need? Be as upset as you want to. There's no moderator. Nobody's policing it. Okay, once in a while, somebody gets really out of line, and I might give them a timeout. I have to give you my perspective. I came out and said it was a bad loss. I'm sorry you were late to the show. I think I made that pretty clear. I just know that these things happen over the course of an 82-game season. But because it happened game one, there's going to be more of an overreaction. I understand that. But the Clippers are going to bounce back. And I think some people here are lacking perspective of what an 82-game season means. It is as disappointing of an opening night loss as you could have. Last year, the Clippers lost the opening night at Intuit Dome. The Intuit Dome opener, they were up by 9 with 3:30 left and lost to Phoenix. That was rough. I don't think it defined their season. I don't. How quickly we forget. So hold up. And I do want to remind you guys of something here. Before we take more calls, before we get back into it, I do want to remind you of our sponsor, Sharif and Wilkerson. If you've ever been injured or involved in a car accident, call or text Sharif and Wilkerson at 818-388-1343. We got avid listeners and friends of the show. That's this law office. They'll help you make money and get the help you need. When you get injured, nobody understands your pain like Clippers fans. So give them a call today, and they got your back. Again, 818-388-1343. Sharif and Wilkerson accident attorneys. These are the guys. I may call them tonight. I got to report an accident in Utah. They're Clippers fans. We must go and be with our own. Sharif and Wilkerson. So, more of your calls coming up. And I want to hear from Coach Lou postgame because I heard an expletive was dropped. But it's just one game. It's a bad game. A real bad game. But if the Clippers win 8 of the next 10, what did this game mean? Was it the end of the world? No. That's the point I'm trying to get across. And failing. I've been through too many of these seasons, too many highs and lows to overreact to one game, even if it's game one, because last season, that was a brutal gut punch in game one with a team that's not nearly as talented as this one. I expect this team to respond, not in kind, to Phoenix on Friday. They lost by 51 to the Dallas Mavericks in the 2021 season. They made the Western Conference Finals. I remember what people said that night. It's over. Trade everyone. Fire everyone. Hey, Mark, if they go 5-5, I'll be much more concerned. We'll cross that bridge if we get there. If they lose to Phoenix and Portland next, then maybe we can talk. But why let your mind go there? I've seen this team so many times bounce back. The other Phoenix loss, up by 23 when they had Detroit coming into a dome. The very next night, James Harden drops 50. I've seen this stuff too many times. Hey, you guys aren't going to survive the season if you put everything into just one game. Are we off AM 570?
We're off.
All right, I'm going to talk to you guys. Could you just put the phone up for me, Colin?
Yeah.
If you guys want to call in, I am still here. I ain't going nowhere yet. 866-987-2570. Low Clippers Talk. For those of you who stayed on and supported, like, who do we got here? Kyle in Florida. We didn't get to you earlier. Kyle, what's up? You're on Clippers Talk with Adam Awesome.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call, boss.
I got you. Turn down the YouTube for me if you would.
It's down for you, man. All attention towards the Clippers. I've seen nothing but negativity in this show and in this chat. And let's give some respect to the Clippers for what they did tonight, even though they sucked. But that's okay because it's only game one. I'm not upset. The energy from the start was really, really, really tough to watch. But it doesn't matter. That's fine. It is what it is. We still have 81 more games to go. Let's keep it moving. Let's move on to the Suns. Let's not worry about what we did tonight. The Jazz we're a great young team that shot like they couldn't miss nothing tonight. So I'm not worried about it. Let's just continue on. Let's not spread that negativity. Kawhi had a rough game, but you know what? It doesn't matter because we have 81 more games to go, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this record is at the end of the year. So I'm down. Let's do it.
Kyle, I appreciate the phone call. That was a good one. I needed some positivity after looking at this chat. Max in Palm Tree. Maximilian, what's up?
Adam Oslin, how are you, my man?
I'd be better if the Clippers didn't get down by as many as 37 in Utah, but I'm all right, all things considered. I've seen a lot.
Yeah, we have. We've seen a lot today, but you know what? There were some good points. I saw Brook Lopez shot three was 41% from the field goal. He shot 5 threes. He was a big highlight. It's important to see that early in the season because he's going to be somebody to really reckon with. And also Derek Jones Jr. He showed his intensity and his ability to score. I saw Brian Seaman on the on FanDuel was talking about how he goes into the gym an hour before and it was just shooting threes. So there are some good points, but man, we got handled, and I'm glad it happened early because I hope this gives the Clippers some fire under their ass because that was tough to watch.
I agree with you. Get it out of the way now. Get it out of the way now because you got 81 games to make up for this and learn from this, right, Max? I mean,
yeah.
If this was,
what do you think about Brook Lopez and the way that he plays? I found him to be a really high point in the game tonight.
I think Lopez, Zubac, and Derek Jones Jr. were probably the 3 best players on the Clippers. Ivica Zubac actually led them in scoring with 19 on 9 of 13 shooting, but Brook Lopez, the changeup, the stretch 5, and he hit 5 3-pointers, as you mentioned. All of his makes were from distance to get to his 15 points, and he's been hot going back to the preseason, but he's legit. He's going to shoot 37% plus from 3.
And it was good to see, man. We really needed it. I mean, you know what? I thought about the Jazz last night, and I know that they're projected to win 18 games this year, but they're athletic and they're young and they're hungry. And they have 2 beasts. They have the center, Kessler, who was almost an all-star a couple of years ago, and then they all obviously have Lauri Markkanen. So we came in there with the mentality thinking that we were going to crush them. And if you have that mentality going into any NBA game, you're screwed. And we saw that tonight.
You think they were overconfident?
I think they thought they had their number going into Utah. Chris Dunn used to play there. Collins used to work there. We got this. No big deal. They go in thinking that they were just going to get it handed. They thought they were just going to be given the game, and it was a good lesson for them. And I hope they learned it because that was an eye opener, man. It made me realize that we aren't as good as we think we are, and I think we needed that tonight.
Max, I appreciate some positivity here. Anything else before I let you go?
That's it, Adam. I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for the call.
Max, thank you for the phone call. Jose and Downey, you're on Clippers Talk with Adam Moslin after they lose 129-108 to the Jazz. What's up, Jose?
Hey, Adam. How you doing, man? Nice to talk to you again.
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, man. I didn't think I was going to make it into the show. You know what? That previous caller about, they needed this for a veteran team. It's kind of annoying. You shouldn't need this.
I agree with that.
The other thing too is, I know Brook Lopez shot well in the preseason, shot well today, but I mean, honestly, I thought they had brought him in because he is a pretty good post player and a great defensive player still. I thought they were going to bring him in to mirror what Zubac does, Doesn't do it as effective as him, but I mean, I thought that's what they were going to do.
He's a totally different player.
I was a little surprised.
He's a different player than Zubac.
Yeah.
He can do some of what Zubac does really well. He's a really good rim protector, as you mentioned, but he's a true stretch 5.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just it felt like if he's out there, who's playing center? I didn't like how we started the game in terms of not really the intensity. They were scrambling around. I understand you're going to get lost on defensive schemes, but correct me if I'm wrong, Adam. Didn't the Jazz start 3 players that are 6'10" or taller?
They did.
And for us not to start with Zubac and Collins.
I don't think okay. If they were only punishing them on the interior, I'd be like, there's something to that. But the problem is they're hitting everything from deep. It's like,
yeah.
You gonna match their
And part of
size and
that,
watch
I
them
felt-
splash in 3-pointers on you?
Right. No, and part of that I thought it was because the whole scrambling. I know it takes a minute to find out what that defensive scheme was, and you were top 5 all last year. I think that's what got to me. This just in his first game, and I understand it's just his first game, but it's like, man, I was really hoping for them to still hang their hats on defense, even on this first thing. Like even if the offense looks a little, out of whack, I was hoping, hey, the defense is there, but all around, just not being able to hit those shots. Because you can tell they were like, hey, we're going to hit these shots. We're going to give it a zoo. We're going to bounce the ball back out, and we're going to shoot those threes. But just not being able to hit is like, hey, man, at some point you got to take that step in. I understand when you were losing big, you have to take those 3-point shots. But it's just I would like to see a little bit more ball through Zoo just because we're an older, slower team.
Well, I
and
don't have a
Zoo is
problem with
still so
that.
dominant.
I at one point,
I know you don't, Adam.
at one point, Jose,
I know
I
you don't.
tweeted out, for the love of God, give Zoo the basketball.
Yeah, and I would have loved to see that just from the beginning. I mean, I know it's hard to say because you have all these big names, and obviously you're paying people a lot of money over Zoo, but Zoo is really reliable option to get you points. I know it's probably not the most exciting ball to see, but it's something that he can do, and I think it's something we have to take advantage of. Because I mean, did he not end up like maybe top 7 centers last year?
Oh, Zoo wasn't outside the top 5. He was a top 5 center easily.
I agree, but I didn't want to sound too greedy.
No, honestly,
That's why I said top 7.
I think it's fair to say that about Zoo last season. He was that good.
Yeah, so I mean, I would just love to. I mean, give him the ball until it breaks and you can't do it no more. Give him the ball. He'll still free up shots for you if that's what you want to do. If you want to take those shots, they're gonna have to double or triple team him because he has grown that much. I'm not saying he's the greatest center in the league right now, but I'm saying he does take up that much attention. And if you really want to be taking that many 3-point shots, it would work well if you give him the ball, let the double, triple team come in and find the open man. Maybe you'll have cleaner shots.
Jose, this may be a hot take, but if it was up to me, I'd have Zoo as the second option on offense behind Kawhi.
Behind Kawhi. You know what? In preseason, he looked okay. He looked healthy. I know he wasn't hitting.
Who are you talking about?
Kawhi.
Kawhi looked great in preseason.
His first game, I think he struggled. And then leading up to it, the wind up the last 2 games, he shot well.
No, his first game, he hit like 4 threes. What are you talking about? In San Diego?
I thought I was talking more when they tried to post him up and they were trying to double or triple team him. He did the right thing, passed out a lot. He missed a couple shots. But
are you talking about Kawhi or Zoo?
I feel like if we're Kawhi.
Okay.
Kawhi, because if we're going to try to save his health, give it to Zoo, man. He's been an iron rock.
Yep.
And save, Kawhi for the end. If that's what we're going to do. If that's the game plan, give the ball to Zoo. I mean, the one thing I did like to see is that Harden had the ball no matter what. Everybody would grab a rebound, give it to Harden. I love to see that. We know who's running the game.
Hey, Harden had some bad turnovers too.
He did. I agree. And I will say this. Although Beal didn't have the greatest offensive game, I did like to see his hustle on defense, transition, trying to cut off the passing lane. Even though he missed, I think, once or twice, but he wasn't the only one. I think Kawhi went for a couple steals, missed it as well. But I did like to see his hustle, which I know it was questioned a lot.
I just want to bring up something somebody is saying in the chat, which is the stupidest shit because we see it every fucking year. I'm sorry for the language, but we've seen this. The reports of Kawhi's demise, I have heard this since 2022 when he first came back from the ACL. Somebody in here, Warren Rambo Terry, who will never show up when Kawhi drops 30 soon, said Kawhi is done, man. He's done, dude. I have heard this so many times. And it's Clippers Talk After Dark. I could swear now. The amount of times that people have counted out Kawhi early in a season or when he comes back from injury and he starts off slow. I can't tell you how many times, and I got those receipts, and I got one more now. Warren, I know I'll never see you when Kawhi turns it on. It could be coming on Friday. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jose. Cook.
No, it's okay. And Adam, I gotta ask you this because it's the big elephant in the room. I know I'm annoyed with it, but with everything going on the side with Kawhi, how do you think this will affect the team, man?
I don't know, because it's affecting me since Pablo Torre followed me earlier tonight. Like right after the game ended. I'm not kidding. Pablo Torre followed me immediately after the game ended. Like that was his message to send to me, because I actually did a show recently in the live section on Clippers Talk where I went after him for something because I thought it was the first time he was way off base with some of his math. And even though I have given him credit for reporting in 7 months and 3,000 pages, and I don't think he has an axe to grind against the Clippers, maybe against Mark Cuban, but I did go after him recently, and I tweeted at him a couple times, maybe 3 or 4 times, and I guess 2 weeks later, he saw those tweets and followed me tonight. I don't know, so we'll see.
I mean, it's gotten to me. I'm not gonna lie. And even though how much I pissed off I was, I ended up buying that ultimate wall pass. So I will be there a lot of times. Hopefully I walk up to you like you've told me to do. I'll try, Adam. I really will. It's just the last couple of times I had trouble finding where you were, even though you told us. I'm gonna try.
We're up there a little bit. Look for the television cameras, and then look a couple rows above that. You will see us.
Okay.
I forget the exact row.
I'm gonna try to get to you, man. After like 4 or 5 years of, about 4 years of calling you, man. I feel like I have to go up to you and shake your hand. So
I'd love to shake your hand, Jose. I appreciate all your calls and your comments. And you know what? You're reminding me tonight of why I do this. Like, it's to hang out with Clipper Nation again, even on nights like this when things go epically wrong.
Yeah. I just hope. I mean, I would love to see Zoo touch the ball more. I would love to see them understand that defensive rotation right away. Honestly, I would love to see Collins as just the starting power forward, period, to give some continuity. But I mean, that does take some time. And I'm just hoping that, some of those projections are, hey, Clippers end up between 5 and 7. And I'm hoping that's true. Or if not, slightly better. I think they have enough talent to be able to slow down the game in between James Harden and Chris Paul and be able to pick apart teams when we really need it. So I'm hoping to see that in the season, man. Right now, I am disappointed. I am really annoyed with what happened today and with the whole Kawhi thing, and I hope we could I hope it goes away. Not goes away, and obviously if something happened, it happened, and we just got to face the consequences. But I hope it just doesn't loom over the team, and we can move forward, man. I really do.
I think Pablo Torre is doing some trolling because he retweeted Anthony Irwin, who put up the Clippers score when they were down 94-58. So
I wouldn't be surprised. Man.
Him following me may have just been like, hey, I know what you've said. I'm on to you, Adam. You're next or something. Like, what's the LeBron gif where he's supposed to look scared? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The hands and the eyes. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I stand on what I said about Pablo in that last podcast I did about it. But I appreciate the phone call, Jose. We'll see it into a dome soon, man. All right? Come say hi.
We'll do, Adam. Have a good season, brother.
Good conversation. We will, no matter what. We got a mystery caller, wild card line, 602 area code. You're on Clippers Talk with Adam Moslem. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Adam, my name is Flex. Just want to say, man, I really love the show. Us as Clippers, we really don't get a lot of love when it comes to the media. And, I've been watching you for about 2 months now, and I just, run to your shows. What I want to speak about is, man, our emotion and energy, that's a big point when it comes to us as Clippers, man. What do you think about that?
Emotion and energy? Elaborate.
Yeah, I kind of felt like James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, the energy wasn't really there when it came to like, just cuts or just defending people.
I agree.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot going on.
They look
Also,
stuck in first gear, and this happens a lot with older teams. And we saw it at times last season and the year before, where you have nights where, for the most part, they were better last season, especially defensively. That wasn't really an issue. But offensively, sometimes it does look really sluggish, and it felt like that tonight when they weren't turning it over and actually getting up shots. It still felt like it was harder than it should have been.
Yeah. Also, one concern I had was about penetration. I mean, there was some good, ball movement with James Harden to Zoo. I felt like we should have did that a lot more. I mean, a lot more. We had some good plays in that position, but I felt like we weren't really penetrating. And we have ISO scorers. We have some of the best: James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Bradley Beal, and we should have did more of that.
Flex, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Arizona.
Right on, man. Appreciate the knowledge. I agree. I mean, this is a limitation of this Clippers team. That's why they need to dump it into Ivica Zubac more to get easy buckets.
Yeah.
But it's also easier said than done against a Jazz team with this front line, a lot of bigs out there. But Zoo was their best player points-wise tonight. I mean, he had 19 and 7. I thought James Harden was solid, Derek Jones Jr., and Brook Lopez. And John Collins even had 14 and 7, 6 of 12 shooting, knocked down 3. But it's hard when the game is out of whack and out of hand that quickly. It's hard to put much into these stats. Like, how impactful were they really? So I don't try to, overanalyze the box score in a game like this. But Flex, don't be a stranger now. You've been voyeuring for 2 months. It's time to start calling in more.
Oh yeah, and I have a last one. This is kind of like a hot take. I heard one of the announcers say this, but I kind of felt like I understand that Utah was making a lot of prayer shots. Honestly, even though they had a high percentage last year, they was, I think, 7th in percentile from the 3-point. I feel like Zubac and Brook should have probably played because Utah had a big lineup and we were getting bullied in the paint. I saw multiple times where Laurie Marketing or Walker Kessler was just putting the buckets up in the paint.
I agree. There was somewhat of an issue with the size advantage that Utah had. But also they're hitting everything from the outside. So if you put in more bigs, now they're guarding more on the perimeter. I thought there was a chance John Collins could start tonight just because of the matchup. And I've been saying, I think it could be matchup dependent, whether or not you start DJ or John Collins. And tonight could be one of those type of teams where you play John Collins next time around and start him. But also, I think the majority of the time DJ is going to be starting because they want to emphasize point of attack defense, because that was the main reason, guys. I can't stress this enough. The main reason they were a top 3 defense last season was because of DJ and Dunn. That point of attack defense changed everything. They had a lot of the other guys before. Kawhi, Ivica Zubac have been good for a while, but once you added that point of attack defense, that's why they got so good last season. Of course, Jeff Van Gundy as well. So I see the logic of starting DJ. I'm not going to say that the size of Utah, and the Clippers lineups and rotations was so much of the problem when it just felt like hot shooting and what looked to be a low energy game out there from the Clippers.
Yeah. Well, I just want to, leave it on that note. Hey man, let's go Clippers. And one last thing, we got to emphasize that. What was the saying that Jeff Van Gundy came up with? Was it get the F back or something like that?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we definitely need to, make sure we're locking that in because we have a lot of great
All right, Flex.
talent on this team. But yeah, thank you, Adam.
Appreciate you. Make sure to be a regular here. Flex from Arizona. From Flex to Matt in Seattle. Then we'll hear from Coach Lou, and then I'm out of here. Matt, what's up? You're on Clippers Talk.
What's up, Adam? Man, I don't know. I might be one of the few fans who I'm not too concerned. I mean, you could tell, like, the turnovers in the first quarter was mainly because, like, new guys not trying to step on each other's toes. Beal's in that starting lineup. And I don't know, but even after that, I'm a little concerned about how lifeless Kawhi looked on both ends. Like, you're gonna like Lori bitch you like all night long. Oh, can I curse on here?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I mean Kawhi looked pretty concerning, but he looked checked out when he knew the game was gone. But I'm not too concerned. And like you tweeted out, they were also like they lost by like what 50-some against Dallas in that 21 season, which we should have won the shit that year.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not too concerned that we're gonna respond this Friday. We're gonna get a big win, and we're gonna be in the NBA Finals this year too. You could book that.
All right, Matt. I like it. Hopefully they take down Devin Booker and the Suns on Friday. Feel better, all right?
Yeah, I'm glad they won today against Sac. It's gonna be a letdown game for him on Friday.
Oh, they came back?
They came back and won. Yep.
That is a
It'll
good
be
thing.
a nice little letdown game for them. Yep.
I'm like Mr. T in Rocky 3. My prediction: pain for the Phoenix Suns on Friday. But the Clippers better bring it because we're feeling the pain right now. Matt, thank you for the phone call.
Yes, sir.
All right, be good. Before we get out of here, I want to hear from Ty Lue and Kawhi Leonard postgame.
Just we talked about before the game, the defensive mindset, start the game. You know, you give up 43 points in the first quarter. It's hard to dig out of that hole, you know, and so 43 in the first quarter, 35 in the second quarter. Defensively, our mindset wasn't right. Offensively, same thing. You know, having 8 turnovers in the first quarter, you know, not playing with space, not understanding what we're looking for, and then we're not organized, you know. So I take responsibility for that. But like I said, defensively, we weren't ready to play. And then offensively as well, just not taking care of the basketball, not knowing what we want to do, you know, not, you know, owning our space. And so, you know, we'll have those guys playing hard. They cut hard. They play hard. They know what they're running. They know what they're looking for. And so they kicked our butt tonight.
I think they made the first 19 shots in the paint. Like, you're not they're a big team. You're not exactly a small team. Like, how exactly does that happen there, where they're getting to the paint and converting pretty much perfectly through the first?
Yeah, just, you know, they run some good stuff and then, you know, not executing our game plan, what we're supposed to do, paying attention to detail, and they took full advantage of it.
You mentioned the turnovers, not being organized offensively. This is a team, they struggled. I don't want to keep going back to last year, but live ball turnovers were a struggle for them. And you've emphasized, James has emphasized not having those kind of turnovers. They had 11 steals tonight out of your 15. It's good that you didn't have a lot of dead ball turnovers, but why do you feel like they were able to be as aggressive against your offense today?
Well, we talked about it for the last 3 days, just, you know, executing side of bounds, knowing that they're going to try to deny and pressure us and not let us get the ball in. I think we had 3 turnovers in that area. And then we should have 5 or 6 because we got lucky, you know, getting the pass through. And so just understanding what we're trying to do, understand what teams are trying to take away from us. We understand when teams blitz, what we're supposed to do, our spacing, and we just didn't take full advantage of everything we need to do.
A couple of years ago, early in the season, you guys lost by 50 to Dallas at home. And you guys ended up making the conference finals that year. So obviously,
Justin Rousseau might have saw my tweet about that loss to Dallas a couple of years back and then making the conference finals.
They would need to do.
a couple of years ago, early in the season, you guys lost by 50 to Dallas at home. And you guys ended up making the conference finals that year. So obviously,
my first year. Yeah.
One game obviously doesn't tell the story of what a season can be, but
You hear that? One game does not tell the story of what a season can be. It's not that simple, guys.
can you look at a game like this and like how much do you take out of a game where the first half it went so poorly that
No, I just think a lesson to be learned. Like we gotta be ready to play, you know. And so, like I say, Will runs a lot of great stuff. They execute. They run it hard. They do it hard. And we wasn't ready for their speed, their pace, you know, their cuts. We didn't handle it very well. And so they was able to execute at a high level, you know, versus our defense, which I think is really good. But the movement, you know, the cuts, the flares, the slips, you know, put a lot of pressure on our defense, and we weren't ready for it.
how do you feel Brad did for his first time kind of in there with Kawhi and James?
I thought he did well. You know, we just got to, figure out, we got to use them. I got to use them better. We got to call plays for him, get the ball in his hands a little bit more. But I thought overall he was okay.
Are there ways where Kawhi can, I'm just going to say that, just be more ready to play? It felt like Larry was overwhelming him physically. It looked like Larry beat him to spots consistently. Like what did you see from Kawhi to begin this game, and how can he, bounce back from that?
No, I got to take a look at it. I'm not quite sure, about that, but it's my job to, keep Kawhi engaged in the game offensively because, like I said, he is our best player. And, only having 9 shots, I think only having 4 at halftime, that's not good enough. So that's what I'm talking about just as far as just organization, getting to our spots, understand what we're trying to run. And we got to do a better job of that. So I'll take responsibility.
How do you make sure this doesn't go over into Friday?
As far as what?
Just the taste of a game like this. Things
Well, I mean, just looking at rotations, but if our first unit can't get off to better defensive starts, subs would be made faster. We just try to play 5 and 5 and just try to, how we've been playing in the preseason. But it's a learning experience to just kind of see what our team is, what we're made of, and then if I got to make early subs from here on out, then that's what we got to do.
What was your level of satisfaction with that second unit going 5 in, and what did you see from them together tonight, and individually those backups?
It wasn't a great start. I didn't think in that first half, but second half I thought he was a lot better. But we just got to understand, like I said, what we're running, spacing, timing, where we're supposed to be, and in practice we do it well. But when teams are denying you and pressuring you, that's when you got to be able to think and execute at a higher level. And so we just got to get better with that.
Walker was a very big difference maker for them down low, and even spacing early on. Kind of what prom did he present for you guys?
He's an improved passer. I think making some really good passes. I think when Zoo goes to help or Brook goes to help, just how big he is around the rim, he can finish offensive rebounds. And so it puts you in a tough position.
Nice job by Justin Rousseau and Law Murray there at Delta Center with Coach Lou. There he was post-game after the Clippers 129-108 loss in Utah to the Jazz. Let me see if we got some Kawhi Leonard post-game. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. Guys. I'm so sorry. Ooh. Everybody awake now? Let me turn this down. I know another way to hear from Kawhi. I'm going to go to Law Murray's Twitter. I saw some Kawhi quotes post-game. Let's see what we have here, because a lot of people are saying he's done, he's washed after one game, as if we haven't been through this a million times before. People just don't learn. The reports of Kawhi's demise have always been greatly exaggerated. Here was Kawhi post-game with Law Murray in the locker room.
It was obviously this one a challenging one. Just why do you feel like the team didn't start this game the way that they wanted to?
Turnovers. You got to give Jazz credit. They was ready from the start. They just turned over the ball. They got them in transition. I think they only missed probably about 4 or 5 shots in that first quarter. Had 43 points. Not good defense by us. And pretty much from there it was over. We trying to play catch up from a 43 point first quarter, and they didn't let up. And they did a great job.
Season over.
All right. One more clip from Kawhi post-game. I mean, the turnovers, I couldn't believe what I was watching in that first quarter. They were so sloppy, some of them. And that's ball pressure. It's defense from Utah. But the Clippers, as Coach Lou said, you got to be ready to play. We worked on this stuff in practice. You got to execute better at a higher level when you're taking on this Jazz team on the road in game 1 when they're hyped up.
Such a challenge matchup. I mean, Larry Markkinen.
7-footer, could shoot, dribble, get to the paint. and he showed it tonight.
That lineup that you started the game with, like, we got used to the fact that was probably going to be the lineup. Yeah, just with Derek starting, you at the forward spot with him, like, that's a big team in Utah. Like, do you feel like this team can play with that lineup against teams that are lining up big, especially considering how big a lot of these teams in the West are going to line up to start games?
We'll see. I think we just have to play with a little better pace. And obviously, like I said, we're turn over the ball and we can get some shots up and you see if it falls.
Kawhi said we'll see when it comes to that starting lineup against the bigger lineups in the Western Conference. All right, look, if at some point, if you keep running into big teams like this and they're abusing the Clippers, then yeah, you got to go to John Collins. But look, ideally, I would have Collins and DJ in the starting lineup and have Bradley Beal coming off the bench. But we just saw how good the second unit looked in the preseason, and everybody was excited. No, this team looks like they're gelling well and all these veterans, and then they just come in and lay an egg like that. It's really disappointing because it looked like we had hoped they were going to hit the ground running because they haven't had a strong start to a season since 2021 where they started, I think, winning 5 of their first 6, or they were winners of 5 of 7 or 4 of their first 6. The Clippers typically have not gotten off to quick enough starts. Speaking of John Collins postgame, he said, quote, approach is important as well as execution. I always say energy is important. We just have to come out with the correct energy and just attack our opponents. Might have been a little bit too relaxed, too chill. Good thing about the season, we got 81 left. I think that's the best way to leave you guys tonight. Hey, Jason, I've said this since they made the move for Bradley Beal. Ideally, what I would do is have Beal come off the bench, but he's not coming off the bench. So it's kind of a moot point. It's just not worth talking about. It's not worth belaboring it because I'm pretty sure to get him, they said, hey, we got a starting spot for you. You can be what Norman Powell was. But it could be maybe, as the season goes along, Bradley Beal softens his stance, if that even is his stance. It'll be interesting. Friday, I expect a completely different Clippers team. I'm not saying game 2 is a must win, but I'm not saying it. Okay, too far. Before we get out of here, I do want to remind you one more time about our sponsor tonight, Sharif and Wilkerson. If you've ever been injured or involved in a car accident, call or text Sharif and Wilkinson. Sharif and Wilkerson at 818-388-1343. That's 818-388-1343. They're avid listeners and friends of the show. They will help you make money and get the help you need. When you get injured, nobody understands your pain like a Clipper fan. So give them a call today, and they got your back. Again, 818-388-1343. Sharif and Wilkerson. Till Friday. Clippers, Suns, tip-off 7:30. Pregame show back here at 6:30. From Into a Dome, I'm Adam Osland. We'll talk to you then.